What's up, y'all? God bless you, man. It is Friday, and we're on bandwidth. Y'all, we got to get right into it. I'm with my brother, Dakari Augustus. Y'all show some love. Send some fire emojis up, some hearts, man. This man is a genius. He's an entrepreneurship guru. Man, welcome to the show, bro.
I do my best, man. First of all, thank you for having me on the show. Come on, man. It's definitely an honor and a pleasure to be in the building. And to be.
What you think about the setup, man?
You're doing your thing,
bro.
You are doing your thing. You can't be stopped. Let's start there. You can't be stopped. When you say you're gonna do it, you do it. Period.
Man.
Period.
Man,
so I love the setup,
bro. Man, appreciate it, bro.
We in the studio,
bro. First of all, you just graduated with your master's degree.
Yes, sir.
And what?
Drum roll.
We need some sound effects. Brandon, where are the sound effects? Entrepreneurship.
Come on, man. I had to go get the knowledge. I had to get the game so I can spit it.
All right. So all right, I'll go back. What's your undergrad in?
It is in mass communications.
Now, you went from mass communications to entrepreneurship.
Yes, sir.
How does that work? What happened?
I couldn't find a job.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So had to switch it up, and I went corporate America. Did that for a while, and then after corporate America, went into the small business world, and then from there, that's what landed me into government contracting. Government contracting merged into entrepreneurship.
Now, what's small business? And the reason I'm asking that is because I think a lot of people we're on this entrepreneurship wave.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what is small business? What makes you a small business? And is small business actually small?
So yes, good question. Small business, I mean, pretty much any business, once you start out, until you make essentially $80 million to $100 million a year, you're actually still considered a small business.
All right, so slow down.
All right.
Until you make how much a year?
80 to 100 million.
So
a
79
year.
million.
You're still a small business.
You're a small business.
Small business.
79 million a year, you're small business.
Small business.
So 80 million and up. That's considered
medium-sized business.
That's medium-sized business.
Medium-sized business.
So what's like a major business?
Typically, a major business in terms of revenue is going to be once you get into from there 300 million, 250, 300 million and up, 500 million. Once you hit those marks, they'll consider large.
So everybody on Instagram, unless you're making 80 million in a
small business,
you're small business.
Small
God bless you. You're a small business.
Small business.
So
if they're doing 10 million, if you just saw somebody make $1 million, it's still small business.
Small business.
Small business. Small business.
What are your businesses? What are you?
So good question. My main business is government contracting. So business development and government contracting, they merge. They're partners. There is one and the same. So that's the main. And then from there, I have other entities that I'm partners in. Okay. I am the sole owner of the Hickey's Fragrance. Can we pay a bill? The Hickey's Fragrance is brought to you by.
Please do it. Please do it. Tell us what Hickey's is.
All right. So for those who don't know, Hickey's is a perfume that I've created, I produce specifically for my ladies and for my fellas. It's for your significant others. And so this project has been something which it was an idea.
You've been talking about Hickey's for years.
And you've been a part of the process the entire time. I remember when I started talking about it, you've always pushed, you've always asked, you've always reminded, you've always said what's going on with it. You've always told people on my behalf, so I appreciate you.
Man, what?
Come on, I appreciate you. So the pandemic happened. And I said, I'm going for it. But let me tell you why I said I'm going for it. I took a pause for a second because I wanted to just get things in line. I wanted to check my heart when it came to just, am I being not too passionate, but am I money hungry?
Gotcha. And
I just took a season of let me set it aside. I had everything in place. Everything that everyone sees has been in place for years. I didn't just start and just kind of start creating.
Yeah.
It literally was on pause, and when I was ready, I could push play. Just that simple. So I took that moment, that season, to check my heart, making sure I'm, this is what I want to do. I want to do it right. Then when the pandemic hit, I saw you going for blood. You wasn't stopping. You weren't stopping. This is what we got to do. If we want the church to live, we want the church to thrive, we want to survive. We can't stop. Everybody else, stopped. We kept going by the grace of God.
And we're still in it. We're
still in it.
Now let me answer this question. This is not about entrepreneurship, but I want people to know who you are, and I want people to understand Christian entrepreneurship.
Absolutely.
Now your business, you're the CEO of Hickey's.
Absolutely.
Now, how long have you been saved?
All my life.
Yeah.
I've been in church all my life.
Right.
I've been in church all my life. Got saved young, 10, 11, 12. You accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, and then baptized around that time, somewhere around there. Got baptized again, because you listen. When we start off fire baptized, listen, can't nothing stop you. You ready to see Jesus? You be talking to Jesus every day. I ain't talking about the now Jesus. I'm talking about born again Jesus.
Right, real born again.
Listen, I'm on the corner preaching to you. Yeah. You need to be saved. You don't know him. You don't know him. Yeah. Hell is waiting on you. Right. That's where you at with it. Yeah. So, grew up doing that. And then, I just been in church, there's never been, okay, I haven't missed 2 consecutive Sundays of church in years.
That's the type of Savior you are.
Man, listen.
And you grew up in a what kind of household?
Oh, it was a Christian home.
Right.
I didn't know. I didn't really listen to secular music until like 6th or 7th grade. Couldn't. You still can't. Go home and play if you want to.
So all right. So that's your foundation of Christianity.
Yes, sir.
Why would you get into a business called Hickey's?
Because saints and church folk won't make me rich.
What?
Period.
Say it again.
Saints and church folks will never make me rich.
They will never make you rich.
Never. I knew that years ago.
Yes.
Knew that years ago, because that's not the first time I've been asked that. And it was like, well, why not go and get the world's money and just bring it to the kingdom? That's always been my heart. Go and get the world's money, go and make the millions and billions of dollars and just fund the kingdom. Why not?
Because Christians wear perfume, and
so do the secular people.
And we get Hickeys.
They get Hickeys. They get all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So, but the world does it. Why not take their money and invest it into what we do?
Absolutely.
The world, perfume industry is $100 billion or $100 billion, $200 billion industry. Why not get a piece of the pie? All I need is a slice. 1% slice. Give me 1% slice. And then we can take this to the house.
Tell me about the government contracting. So how do let me go back. I want to ask you this question. Do I need to have a 4-year degree to make money?
No, you do not.
How can, let's say we have people who, because traditionally we were told to go to school, get a 4-year degree, good job.
Absolutely.
That phenomenon is changing. It always existed, but now it's popular.
Right.
Tell us about that.
So now it's not about entrepreneurship. There's so many resources. We have the internet.
Right.
Once we have the internet, everything's available. So you can go find out everything you need to find out about entrepreneurship just from the internet alone.
Yeah.
What school comes to do is it structures it. So therefore you can, let's say, dot every I and cross every T, just let's say as best as possible without making so many mistakes. And so entrepreneurship itself, you can get up under a mentor and learn everything that you need to. You have the internet. There's all kinds of programs. You got YouTube University. You have all these different resources for it. So do you traditionally need schooling per se for it? No, but there's an immaculate amount of resources and information through schooling.
Gotcha.
So it's on you to kind of choose what you want to do with that information or how you want to obtain it,
So do you advocate for 4-year institution or vocational?
Every industry is different.
Gotcha.
I say whatever industry you're going into, research that and see what's best.
Gotcha.
Because you can't say 4-year degree for electrical
or
contractor or for cooking.
Yeah.
Usually there's a 2-year degree anyway, or a certification. But see, that just teaches you maybe about cooking, about the industry. To learn about entrepreneurship is still something that you got to take that and apply it in the world. That could be a 10-year process.
Gotcha. So how do I know that I'm an entrepreneur?
That's a good question. I think it's your heart's desire. It's not. I don't think it's something that you can say, "Oh yeah, look at that person over there. They're an entrepreneur." It's the willpower.
It's the will.
It's the will. It's the drive to say, "I want to see whatever it is come to life." Right. It's not something that necessarily. It's not something you can just pick up per se. Sometimes you're born with it because, say, your parents were entrepreneurs, so that's all you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Right. It's those things, but I think every person has a bit of it in them. And another key word is entrepreneurship.
Sure.
So it might not necessarily be start my own, but to take what somebody else has started to the next level.
And you've done both.
I've been able to do both.
You've been able to do both.
Yes,
all right, so let's talk about some meat and potatoes.
Absolutely.
This guy says, man, ain't no money out here for black folk. What would you say?
He don't know where the money is.
Where is the money for black people?
There's billions of dollars, and if you do government contracting, there's certifications and money set aside just for minority companies. Minority companies is everybody that's not white.
Minority companies.
Everybody who's not
everybody
white.
that's not white. So if I have a small business, there is funding
absolutely
for me.
Absolutely.
So how do I get it?
In the billions. So if you want to do government contracting, the money is usually you have to register. Well, you register sam.gov. So you're going to register your company with the government. And this is to do business with the government.
Gotcha.
They can't cut you a check if they don't see you.
Gotcha. So I need to take my business and register with the government.
You got to register with the government.
Okay.
So it's not enough to have an LLC when you do government business.
Talk to me now.
You got the LLC. Now you got to go register. So you got to get the DUNS number. You got to get the cage code.
Okay.
You got to register on sam.gov. And then you get your capability statement. Those four.
All right, let's go back.
Okay, all right.
Break it down.
I came to talk that talk.
Look, go back. So
right.
I get my LLC.
Got that.
What's next?
Next, you want to get your DUNS number.
What's that?
The DUNS number is essentially like let's say it's equivalent to your EIN.
Gotcha.
But on the government side.
On the government side.
So this is what credit unions on the business side are going to check. It's a DUNS number, right?
Gotcha.
Then you have a cage code.
A cage code. What's that?
Cage code is what identifies your business on the government side. So it's essentially like having just a tag. Let's say the tag for your car. Cage code is equivalent to the license plate on your car.
Gotcha.
It identifies your business.
And then what's
so the next thing is going to be a capability statement. Capability statement is just simply your resume, right? Your resume, but in the form that it's in, it's the resume of your business, not necessarily the personnel. What has your business done?
Gotcha.
How can your business support the government? What have you accomplished? What certifications do you have? That's what it is. It's essentially a resume, so front and back.
So what type of businesses will the government, specifically we're talking about minority businesses, what type of businesses will, after I have all of that together,
absolutely, is
it guaranteed that the government is going to start handing me money?
No, they're not going to start handing you money. What it is now you can box. Now you're in the ring. Now you can fight for the opportunities. They can now say, okay, you've met the qualifications. Now, if we choose you, here goes the contract.
And what type of businesses are they looking for?
If you can think of it, the government will pay for it.
Really?
If you can think of it, the government pay for it. So the government, the government market for small businesses is, let's say anywhere from, I'm throwing numbers out there because you got different articles, but anywhere from $500 billion to $1 trillion just for small businesses.
Say it again.
$500 billion to $1 trillion just for small businesses.
It's just sitting there.
Every fiscal year, they have money that they have to get rid of. See, so what happens is, let's say the CDC. CDC has $100 billion that they need to give to all businesses. Just they got projects they need to get completed. This needs to go out. They set aside 50% of that, so 100 billion, so $50 billion they set aside for small businesses. So they have to get rid of that money. If they don't get rid of that money, the next fiscal year, the government, the big dogs, are going to say, well, we gave you 50 billion and you didn't use it for small businesses, or you didn't award enough businesses. So instead of giving you 50 billion, we're going to give you 40 billion this year. So a part of that is all because we as small businesses didn't get in the boxing ring to fight to get that money. They now have to have a lower budget, when essentially we could get in and fight for it and you can get awarded some of that money.
All right. So let's say I'm going to throw some stuff out.
Okay.
A T-shirt company.
Contracts for it. I even tell you how it works. State funded, all right, Albany State University, they have a bookstore. How do you think those T-shirts get created? Somebody has a contract with if it's a public school, they have a contract with the public, the state, that, let's say, we're going to give you $100,000 a year for 5 years to create articles for our bookstores. That's a government contract.
So we have people like in our church, we got God Pocket, we got Hood and Holy, we got My Company.
That's it.
I can take either one of those companies and
go after
government contract.
Because what you'll be proving is that you can that you can create the clothing. Well, that's what your business is. So yes, you can go after it.
Really?
So we go in those when we walk into the bookstore, there's somebody somewhere making that. We know that they're making the clothes because it's in there,
right?
But we don't realize that's a government contract that they bid against somebody. And what happens is because they have these relationships, sometimes they're not even bidding anymore. The state is giving them those contracts because nobody's doing it. Nobody else is going after it.
So for people, for church people, that's trying to shop their stuff in their church, in their local church.
Yeah, you need to stop that.
You need to stop that.
You need to stop that.
Stop trying to get your church members to buy your stuff.
Absolutely.
And do what?
And if you go commercially, you need to be focused on the world. What does the world like about your brand? Do they like your brand? Can I identify with your brand? If you go commercially, on the government end, it's not necessarily about. I'll use Got Pocket because I'm a part owner of that.
Right.
So I'll use Got Pocket. They're not gonna look at the brand and be like, yeah, let's try to infuse musicianship and clothing. They're not gonna say that. They're gonna say, well, do you make your clothing? We say, yes, we make our own clothing. Okay, well, here goes a contract. We need you to make the clothing for Morehouse. I'm making it sound simple, but that's because you can make the clothing. It's not about the fact that you have a clothing line. If you have a clothing line, if I'm you and you have a clothing line, what I would do is get into making how to make the actual clothes, not just drop shipping. Where you get somebody else to make it and then you're just kind of the middlement.
So tell us, you said something. Tell us about drop shipping. Okay. What is this new thing called drop shipping?
Drop shipping, it just makes it easy for you. So what happens is some other company, they'll press the clothing, they'll do all that. They have a certain fee. So that means you got to charge above that fee to your clients and customers. But essentially,
you can make a profit.
So you can make a profit. That's it. You don't have to go and buy the printing machine, pressing machine. You don't have to do the heating. You don't have to do any of that. They take that away. But I mean, the hardest part about it is that it's easy, but what you don't get to do is personalize your products a lot of time because it's coming from them, and then they're shipping it from wherever they're at straight to the customer.
Gotcha.
It doesn't come back to you to look at it to make sure it looks good.
Gotcha.
Everything's uniform with what your business standards are.
So you're risking having a poor product because
you are.
Gotcha.
You are that quality, just uniqueness.
Yeah.
All of that. So. It's depending on how you want to do it. There's people that have made millions, gotten rich off of it, which you can, but they might not necessarily cared about that. So it depends on what you care about. Do you care about the quality and it being tailored and it being crisp and it being my personal brand on it to where I need to have control over that? If that's not what you want control over and you just kind of want to drop ship it. All
right, so I'm part owner of Hood and Holy, and we've merged Dope and Anything with Hood and Holy. So we're one company.
Okay.
Should we get into government contracting? Because we don't produce the shirt. We have companies to do that. We just have the brand and the style.
All right, great question. You can.
Okay.
You can. This is what the model will have to be. Let's say all of your vendors. Let's say you have 4 vendors. You then would say to them, all right, guys, based upon you all's catalog, could you produce this? And this could be, let's say you take a Morehouse store. Could you all produce all the products that are in here? Let's say all 4 of them say, yeah, we already do that. Then you say, you know what? All right, cool. We're going to go after this contract. You all go after the contract as your brand. And what's going to happen is once you get awarded the contract, you're going to take all the material to the vendors. They're now technically, they're going to become your subcontractors.
Gotcha.
And then from there, they'll make all the product. You'll then send it over to
So we're
Morris.
technically the middlemen now.
Yeah, but you're the prime. The prime, even though it's looked at the prime contractor, that means the contract's responsibility is in your hands.
Gotcha.
So it's middleman, but you're responsible.
I'm responsible.
Yeah, you're responsible, and all you're doing is managing at that point.
Gotcha.
Hey guys, this is what we need. This is what Morehouse just ordered. They just ordered 500 shirts with this design. I need you to do 125. You do 125. You do 125. You do one, or who can do all 500?
Right.
This company can do all 500. Okay, cool. You do the shirts. You do the sweatshirts. You do the vests. You do the sweatpants. However you want to divide it up is on you.
All right. So we have people like, because you are an idea guru. We have Brandy's company.
Okay.
Her coffee company.
Man, that's gonna take off.
What? So. All right. Check this out.
Okay.
I think she's in the room. Yes, she's over there.
Right.
Brand, your company is called But First Company with 2 T's or 1. Okay, just gotta make sure.
Right.
So, what could she do on the government level? Because I think what people are doing is this culture is like so enamored with social media, but none of us we don't have contracts with millions and trillions.
Right.
So what could a person like But First Company, But First Coffee, if they went into government contracting, what could she do?
So what's interesting is that she would have to do research on which agency is asking for her products. That's it. Once she finds out the agency, she builds a relationship and she goes after the contract. That's it. Somebody's asking for coffee.
What about people like Shanice? She's a full-time entrepreneur.
Absolutely.
For marketing.
Absolutely.
Can she get into government contracts?
Absolutely. There's all kinds of contracts for that.
Now, let's talk about Brandy. She's a phenomenal person as it relates to media.
Absolutely.
She could be hired by someone.
Easy. And think about it. If any let's say you go to NASA, right? You go there. They have a video plan. Somebody made that video. And whoever somebody is wasn't necessarily working for NASA.
What?
That was a contract.
That's a contract.
That's a contract. So they outsourced. That's what government contracting is. It's the biggest pool of outsourcing. The government doesn't do it themselves. They say, hey, listen, we need somebody to do this, build this. They put it into a contract. Who can do it? They get these solicitations or these proposals in. They measure it. They see whoever. They reward it to whoever.
So where are the contracts at?
The contracts are on different sites, which are public sites for you to go to. You can also go check out what companies are making. So anytime somebody makes federal money, it's public information. So I can go show you who's made $1 billion right now.
All right. So let's keep going here. Let's talk about people like Mallory, Cordelia.
Okay.
These people are into cleaning.
Cleaner?
They could be.
I'm about to run out the room.
What? Tell us.
Facilities, right? Facilities contracts are always 5 and 6 years. So what they usually is 4 years with a 1 year option. That's 5 years. So that means that once you get a facilities contract, which could be $5-10 million for one building, or they may have multiple buildings, you put your team together. Essentially, what we do here,
right?
All you're doing is
every
managing.
Saturday we come in. We have a whole clinic
every Saturday. So you're putting people on. Matter of fact, let me break it down.
Break it down.
All right. So you and I, we went to elementary school.
Right.
All right. There was a custodian there.
Right.
That custodian we thought worked for the school.
No.
Not the case. That custodian worked for a small business or any kind of business that got the contract with the state, so or the county, right? So we thought they worked for the school. No, they worked at the school, but they worked for another company.
So their supervisor wasn't the principal.
No. No.
What?
So here it is. If you have a cleaning company, what you would do is you go after a government contract, you win it, you'll take your staff and put them at whatever schools were in the contract.
So technically, I can take my entire cleaning team here at this church.
Absolutely.
Create a LLC.
Yep.
Go after government contracts.
Absolutely.
Now I can hire my cleaning team, pay them full time, and take the rest of it and dump into my church.
Yes, sir.
What?
And do subcontracting. So if you couldn't do your whole team, you find another company that does it and let them take they take a location
and I take a location. My team take a
location. Somebody else take a location. Absolutely. And so a lot of those contracts are, you'll have it to where if it's facilities, they'll have maybe one school or they may give you 20. So let's say your number is $100,000 for one school. Now do 100,000 times 20. I think it's $2 million. That's $2 million a year for cleaning, to scrub some toilets and buff some floors. Same thing you would do Monday through Friday.
This does not make any. So technically, we're struggling for no reason.
None at all. None at all, man. If you can think about it, dream about it, whatever, the government pays for it.
So okay, so speaking to my life right quick, my gift is I speak. With my business, I have Next Up Network. That's my entire business.
Okay.
That's about anything that's next up.
Okay.
So as a motivational speaker, how can I go after contracts as a speaker?
As a speaker and motivational speaking.
What about leadership training? You know, we do
that's where the money is that leadership training, because the government invests heavily into that. So
I can go ahead and because I already have my business. I can just go ahead and go through that process you just talked about and start going after contracts of leadership training.
Absolutely. When you go after, a lot of times what they'll ask you for is there
anything for profits?
Absolutely.
No, I'm saying no prophetic people that they see in the spirit.
Listen, well, chaplain.
Yeah.
So I've written contracts for chaplains. So essentially, I had a client who he was going to staff chaplains for like naval bases. So I remember you were going at, or you was looking at a position.
Yeah.
So you can go direct, or indirect would be you went through a company that's staffing. So it becomes a staffing company.
But see, FYI to all the prophets and pastors and stuff like that, you cannot be a chaplain just because you're a prophet or a pastor.
True.
You got to go to you actually have to have a 72-hour divinity degree to be able to be a chaplain for the military, ABC.
Because the military don't care what you see.
What? They do not care.
They want all these credentials.
So look, let me ask, man, I have so many questions.
Okay.
Here's another scenario.
Right.
A young lady is, she has 2 children,
mm-hmm.
and she lost her job.
Okay.
Or she doesn't have a job, and she doesn't have education.
Mm-hmm.
All she has is, she's broke.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the ways people can make legitimate money quickly, and make some good money?
There's several different things. I mean, you have options like let's say Thumbtack or whatever, which is these services where whatever professional services you offer, you can literally go on these sites, say you offer it, and somebody can pay you for the services, and you're starting day one, or at least in the first week. There's a lot of this is before you get to government contracting and stuff. So when you're talking about entrepreneurship, sometimes entrepreneurship doesn't come in the form of I started a business. It comes in the form of the services and or products I can just simply provide. That's it. I provide services. That's it. So let's say cleaning. You provide cleaning services. If you're just cleaning a few houses because you want to get into it, that's the relationship you built. Then you say, all right, I want to turn this into a business and maybe start going after commercial stuff.
Got you.
So a lot of times it's not necessarily about starting a business. It's about what are you good at? What can you take your hands, your mind, and apply these skill sets to, and start there. That's it. Like if I'm a mechanic, it's not that I have to open my shop first.
Right. I
just start working on cars. So people need oil change. Cool. I learned how to do oil change. You need spark plug. You need just these different things done. You start there. Then you get to a point where it's like, okay, now I want to start looking into opening my shop. So you start researching, studying, maybe even going to work at a shop, but get under the mentorship of the owner to start learning how all that works. So it's not always starting a business first. Provide the services. What are you good at?
What are some of the things? Because I don't think people have like this open mind about business. Mm-hmm. You posted something a couple of weeks ago. It was like a list of things people could do.
You got options.
What are some of those things that people can do to make money?
Man, you can be a barber. We need one today. You can be a barber. You can be an esthetician. You can be a writer, a blogger, or author. You can be, just anything. You could electrician. You can be a plumber. You can be, and people don't realize in the trade world, these things are. What building have you walked into that doesn't need HVAC system?
Absolutely.
We be sleeping on it.
Yeah.
What building doesn't need an HVAC system? Everybody need air. Everybody need air, heat, water. You know what I'm saying? You got to flush the toilet. So you're talking about these are necessities that we skip over, that we kind of look down on.
Yes.
But those are contracts. You're talking about every building that's ever built. There's a portion set aside for that. It's important. So on that list, I just listed like, hey, don't forget about these opportunities.
Yeah.
Whether it's for yourself, whether it's something you want to get your kids into, because they don't have to make this a career. Think about it. It's something you can always fall back on.
So we're not talking about purpose.
No.
We're talking about being proactive.
That's it. That is it. I have a skill set that if to that same story, the young lady, I get let go of a job, whatever, I still have a skill set of doing something, whether it's babysitting, whether it's cooking, whether it's, okay, well, I was an esthetician a couple of years ago. Maybe I can get back into it, right? So it's important to have skill set. That, if anything, I would say that is what makes entrepreneurship. Not the mind to, not I want to be my own boss, not, no, it's what is your skill set?
What's your skill set?
Absolutely.
Now, as an entrepreneur, what would you do differently at this point in your career? Because like you said earlier, you've been doing this for years.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing what you know now, what are the 3 things you would do differently if you could start over again?
I may have taken a little more risk. I'm not a risky person like that. So I may have taken a little more risk. Because I could have took out a loan to do hickeys and all that stuff. I didn't want to.
Got you.
I already had the school loans and stuff. So I was like, no, I'm not doing all that. But I probably should have. So I would say take wise risk. Let's say that. Take risk, but wise risk. So take more risk. I probably would have gotten my master's sooner.
Gotcha.
Which you did tell me to do, so I apologize for being disobedient. That's on air. And then I think I might have gotten a mentor sooner. I definitely would have gotten a mentor. Man, mentors at the end, they're guiding lights. Like, here are the do's and don'ts. This is what I did. Copy it. It's a map. Think about it. If I said we're going to a church, you got to go preach somewhere. They didn't give us the address. This is where we are, but we got to get there. We're gonna be like, what's the address? And if they gave us the address, we're gonna put in the GPS, and the GPS is gonna guide us.
Right.
That's what a mentor is. They're gonna guide you. They're a GPS system to wherever you're trying to get to, whatever the destination, whatever the address is that you're trying to get to. You can have several addresses along the way. It's a journey, but they're the guiding light for it. So essentially, I probably would have gotten a mentor just a little bit sooner, so that I could probably just kind of work out things in my mind, because I was doing it alone. I wasn't really taking something and throwing it at somebody and say, okay, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? So when I got into small business, the owner I was working for kind of became that, but he let me be. It was like he needed me and I needed him, and that's what it became. So I would have got a mentor sooner.
Let's answer some questions real quick. How can this be applied to e-services and products?
Okay, so let's say e-services could be just anything digital, if you will. So it's the same model, right? It's the same model. When you have to know what your market is. You have to know your industry. You need to do research about what's the trend, because you could start something and that was 5 years ago. We're not even doing that anymore. Like, and that's the worst place to be in. Like, oh, I thought I was doing a good job. Mm-hmm. No. So you need to know your market, whatever it is, whether it's e-services, whether it's a physical product. Know your market, know your services, know your product, know your industry, know the big players, know the small players, know what's coming, understand the changes, the ups and downs of the market, understand what your customers want. This is why it's important for reviews, testimonials, all those different things. I would say that you can apply e-services and e-products to government, to commercial, to private. I don't know exactly what your services might be, but you just need to know your industry as much as I would say know your industry before you even start. If you don't, I mean, you can learn along the way, but the information is available.
Do I have to have everything perfect before I start?
No, you won't. You won't. We didn't have a building when we started the church.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, obviously not. We didn't have 200, 300, 400. We didn't have 1,000 people when we started. So, we didn't have it. So, but we started.
We started anyway.
And we've been going since. So, no, you don't need to know everything. But I think be wise. Be wise. Just don't take risks just to take risks. Be wise. You got to understand what you're getting into. Well, we also got to realize some of the most successful businesses, we don't talk about it enough. They've been around 10, 15, 20, 30 years. So you talk about, let's take it to church, the TD Jakes of the world. Ask me if I'm wearing a suit it's the same suit every week for how many? 3 years?
He did it for years.
Come on, man. I wear a shirt 4 times. And
that's it.
So it's just like, you gotta study that and realize he deserves to be where he is.
Right.
These businesses they've been around 60 years. Did you even know that?
How long has Amazon been around? Jeff Bezos. How long?
He started in 1999, or he started in the 90s for sure. I think it was the end of the 90s. But the idea could have started well before that.
Right. I remember seeing the office he started in.
Yep. It was like
Amazon.
It was like a garage or something.
Yeah, it's same as Google and all these.
Yeah.
So can you speak to a generation that's trying to be successful overnight as it relates to entrepreneurship?
Absolutely. It takes, you have to grind it out. If you were to ask Jeff, if he was to be honest and be real, I'm sure the story that we have isn't the full story. We don't know what he did, what he sacrificed for that. And he didn't know that Amazon would become this world leader. He didn't know that. He did one thing I will credit him for is that he saw, if I'm not mistaken, he started with books, selling books or whatever. But he saw that the market, that's why I talk about the market.
Amazon used to be books.
It used to be books.
It used to be.
It used to
be books.
And he saw that was becoming obsolete. So he took it to, once the internet happened, he took it to the internet. And that's where it just became, it just took off from there. It used to be books.
It used to be Amazon used to be books.
He's like, I'm gonna try something. And because the internet came 1999, 2000, somewhere around there, whenever that happened, or this big IP explosion happened, he took that and ran with it.
1999.
Yep.
Yeah.
He took that and ran with it.
What's another question, Brandon?
What does apply to someone trying to start their own hospitality company?
Yes, I think hospitality will fall into
Like hotel industry,
Mhm.
restaurant industry. So what's for it.
I guess what depending on whatever the specifics are. Yes, if you're getting into, let's just say, restaurant business, you need to know how, just location is everything. What are you offering that's different than somebody else? I would, if I'm starting a restaurant, one of the biggest things for me would be about how can I get the word out about my restaurant, right? How can I get people in to just have the food, just try the food, just love on it? Because what ends up happening, some of the most, even small businesses that have the word on the street, as in you got to go there, you got to try it, is because enough people have been there, and now all they do is when they go to the restaurant, they're posting. They're posting because my sister took me to the spot called like Novu or something like that. Mm-hmm. It's a black-owned company in East Point, Georgia. Man, they brought up the shrimp and grits item, but it was in like a martini glass.
What?
Yeah, the presentation. Then the food was good, but the presentation was like, I wouldn't have thought to put it in a martini glass. Wow. But as soon as I post that, one, people are gonna be like, "Oh, you at Novu?"
Gotcha.
Two, people are gonna be like, "That's fine. Where you at?" So if I'm a restaurant, it's about taste. Well, I need 100 million people to taste this.
Yes.
That's how you grow. That's not going to be necessarily if you post a flyer, people are going to come. No.
Gotcha.
Taste. You got to look. What did Chick-fil-A do? What when we go to the mall and you be walking the food court and the Japanese and Chinese, they want you to taste it. You know, I'm in the mood for some Chinese today.
Yeah.
That taste. So if I'm in the business of a restaurant, hospitality, taste. That's the thing.
What could people like? Because what I want people to do is kind of leave the church alone as it relates to this is your main platform for entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And this is not directed towards anybody. I've been in church all my life as you have. Right. And what we do is we have entrepreneurs, their main platform is the church, and they don't last long because that church is only 50 people, 100 people.
Right.
How, for example, a person like Tatiana, phenomenal cook.
Man.
What can she do to become a restaurant that 1,000, 1,000,000 people, they taste what she has to offer?
Right. So Tati, we talk all the time.
Yeah.
So Tati, she has a couple options. I'll speak to one. If the idea is to become a food truck, right? I'm gonna get a food truck. I'm not gonna do a restaurant.
Not a restaurant.
I'm gonna do a food truck. Why? Because a food truck is mobile. So I can actually hit a certain radius of Atlanta for a whole year. Right? I don't have to worry about just one location and then trying to reach out from that location. So let's say I go the food truck route. Now I'm looking at, this is the city of Atlanta. City of Atlanta has 1,000 events happening every weekend. So I would now make it a tour, right? I would schedule where we're going to be a vendor at every week. Every week we're going to be a vendor somewhere. Like whatever the cost is, just kind of budget that, because when I go, I know that I'm gonna make a killing. So it's that type of idea if you want to go that route. If she wanted to go kind of like more of the private chef route, like I want to do that, well then I would make sure that all holidays I do something big. We talked about, she already knows, so I'll put this out. We talked about like, I think she's looking at kind of like this Airbnb situation. Like, so essentially you reach out to a network of Airbnb owners. Yeah. And when they have people come and stay, as an option, they can schedule a private dinner. Ooh, and she be the chef for it.
So okay,
I'm about to walk out.
man, look, I'm about to listen. First of all, you're genius. Tell us about this Airbnb phenomenon. What's the genius behind the Airbnb?
Man, it's brilliant. We don't be thinking, man. I be like, Jesus, why you just didn't let? He been wanting souls, so the souls are important, man. Let me tell you what makes Airbnb important. Like, just they own nothing.
You own nothing.
In the middle of the pandemic, they got $100 billion valuation. And you own nothing. So essentially, they created a system, a software for you to take your location, put it in there and say, hey, I have a room or a whole house available. And what we'll do is, this is what we'll charge you. And all we're going to do is get a tithe of whatever you charge your customer.
All right. So let's break it down for the people who don't understand. Because everybody knows, they know this word Airbnb, this phrase. All right. Tell people how to start the Airbnb.
So it's super easy. Let's say you have a room. You have another room in your house. What you're gonna do is first you need to study it, but you want to just go into your room and get an interior designer to come in and do whatever. Right? They're gonna make it look good. You can holler at Minister Mal. You can holler at Rashini. You can holler at these people that
Felicia. All these people.
Listen, they get it. I don't.
Right.
You holler at them. Let them do it. Right. They come and make your room beautiful. You're going to get Miss Precious to come and take pictures because in Airbnb, the pictures.
So much business in this church. Keep going.
The pictures are what make it. So when you study Airbnb, they're going to say it's the pictures that grab them. There's literally a formula to Airbnb. And they, if I'm not mistaken, they said like the first picture needs to be like the bedroom. Why? Because typically in Airbnb, if you're going to stay anywhere in a house, it's going to be where you lay down. You're not going to necessarily stay in the living room or whatever. Why? Because wherever you went, you're going to be out all day and just come back and just pretty much be in the room. In terms of which room do I spend the most time in?
Gotcha. So bedroom, bathroom, kitchen. That's in that order.
That's it. So you want to make those, you want to highlight those things.
Gotcha.
So, okay, cool. So you got that. You offer that. You want to offer a good cleaning rate. Right. So you want to look at the radius of other Airbnb owners, in particular to your location, and look at what they're charging. And you charge the same thing. You maybe even go a little bit lower. All
right. So when I first start hearing about Airbnb, I thought you had to own.
That's what I was thinking.
I was thinking you had to own the house.
No, you don't.
Tell us what you can do.
Let's say, okay, I'm not supposed to be saying this, so I won't say this. I'll do it this way. Let's say you do own a house or you're renting a house. Let's say you're renting a house.
Okay.
Let's say you're renting a house. You can do one of two things. You can go to the owner and say, hey, I'm thinking about doing this with this extra room. It's just me here, but I think there's some revenue. The owner may say, well, listen, I'm cool with it if you manage it. I mean, it's no different than a roommate moving in or whatever. So if they're cool with it, cool. You can do exactly what we just said about that room. Now you may say, okay, to that owner, all right, you're charging me, let's say my the rent here is $1,200. Mm-hmm. Well, you say, you know what? I'll pay you $1,500 to let me do this. I'll pay you $1,500 a month. We'll take it up. So
how do I make that money though?
That's how you make the money. So now once you get on Airbnb, you need to try to have that room booked out for 20 to 25 days on average. And let's say you can do about $150. You can do $150 a night, right? That's going to be, let's say 150 times 20 is $3,000. You just made $3,000 off of that extra room. This is not your job.
And all I did was I gave the owner $1,500 and I have $1,500 in his pocket.
And all you're doing is giving the owner extra $300 technically, because you were able to pay for the out of your own whatever your job is.
Right.
You're just giving them an extra $300. So extra $300 to get $3,000. Yeah, you can take that. I'm making a profit of $2,700.
Now, is location important when I choose my Airbnb?
It is, absolutely. But what's so crazy is that this is why you just got to study it a little bit before you jump into it. Location is, and it's super important, but a lot of people, because of, especially with the pandemic, hotels shut down. Mm-hmm. So people still had to travel. They needed somewhere to stay.
Right.
Well, now people they'll check hotels, but a lot of people are now checking Airbnbs. Let me check and see where I can go stay, because think about it. If I do a hotel, I'm paying $200 a night. You might get a suite. Let's say you get a suite or not. You're going to get that half refrigerator is this okay microwave. Right. You're going to get, the bedding and stuff may be straight. Right. You got a cable. Ain't nobody watching cable anyway. Right. And your internet may or may not work. So it's okay. We know what that experience, but imagine I'm paying $200 and I get a whole house. I get a whole house, and then the owner took time to make it look whatever, which is why I got it. Come, what's my better investment?
So if you have a house and you have a basement and you're doing nothing with, you can
feel
invest.
Better.
You can invest.
Please do Airbnb
and get all that money back.
So now let's say I own a house, right? I'm on a 30-year mortgage. I say, you know what? I'm an Airbnb the basement, and now I'm able to take what I'm making per month and I'm gonna put that into the principal of my house. I can pay that house off in 7, 8, 10 years.
What about this new? We gotta go. What? All right, I got some questions.
All right.
What? Any other questions, Brandon?
Some of our viewers can relate, but where can they find contractors?
Perfect. So just type in this website. It's sam.gov, G-O-V, sam.gov. So when you go on there, there'll be a search bar, and type in whatever you want in that search bar. You can type in artwork, you can type in mechanics, you can type in electrical, you can type in facilities.
Whatever you're interested in.
Whatever you're interested in, type it in and just see what comes up. Now it's gonna sound like a lot of jargon because you don't know that world per se. But essentially that's where it is. It's free information, and you'll see contracts that are available, contracts that are archived, meaning the contract is already over. You can see who's been awarded the contract. You can even start, this is crazy. Companies have relationships, so they've won contracts, but they're always looking for subcontractors. So how do you start off? Start off as a subcontractor. Don't worry about winning the contract. Let me just get in partnership or in bed with you because you have a relationship.
Now, what's a subcontractor versus the primary contractor?
All right, so subcontractor is somebody who doesn't have the contract, but you'll outsource a portion of the work or the work to me while you manage and supervise it. So I'm the one who's getting all of the experience. I'm the one who's doing the work. Now I get to add it to my portfolio. So when I go after a contract, even though I was a subcontractor, I get to say to the government, oh, nah, I worked with the CDC. I worked with GSA. I worked with the Navy. I worked with the Army, all because I was doing subcontracting. In the government world and commercial world, it counts. If you did the work, it counts. It doesn't matter if you were prime or sub. The sub is just just your way into it.
All right. What we have another question, Brad? We got to go, man. But it's too listen, because we can't listen. This is you got to get paid to do this. First of all, you got to get paid. Is there another question? All right. So how do I leverage social media with my business? Because I think people think it's about the likes, shares, and all that stuff like that. How do I leverage social media with my business and make it work for me?
All right, I'm gonna put a plug in.
Okay.
Consult with Minister Shanice.
Woo, son.
That should be enough. If you consult with her, she'll be able to tell you. I just know it from because I've had to be involved in it. But you leverage it. I'm gonna tell you what makes it easy. And Minister Brand knows these reels and stuff. Like I be saving. Listen, I'm not the best cook. I'm all right.
Yeah.
I be saving stuff and be like, I'm gonna try that.
Gotcha.
But the point is, to the Tatis of the world, it could be your reel that I was saying I was gonna try.
Wow.
So you gotta post it. You gotta post it and put it out there so it can get into the algorithm and people who don't know you start following you.
So it's not about the likes. It's more so about the exposure.
The exposure, the content, the consistency.
Now, how often should I be posting on social media?
They say 3 to 5 times a day. That's too much. We ain't got time for that. But I think realistically, if you're doing anywhere from 2 to 3 posts a week and they're different engaging type posts, that's what helps build the algorithm. But don't miss and just schedule it out. That's the thing we got to do. We got to schedule it. When are you going to post? All right, I'm going to post Mondays, Wednesdays, Saturdays. If you want to go off of the you can look up where it's like the best times to post on stuff. I don't be doing that. I ain't got time for all that.
Well, I've been trying to keep going.
I'm going to post today. So, but the thing is, just post 3 times a week. Post, and sometimes I do this. This is what I do. If you check my post, I tag people and I tag.
I love what you do. Every time someone, I'm assuming they purchase your perfume, you do a whole hickeys.
Man, we got to rewind it.
Wow.
We especially can I pay a bill?
Please.
To each and every person that has purchased Hickeys, thank you so much. I appreciate
put
each
Hickeys
and every
information real quick in the comments.
www.ilovehickeys.com. I appreciate each and every person that supported it, that shared it, people that I didn't even ask. And so to every person, I think you should overdrive anytime somebody shares your stuff. You should be thanking them over and over because they didn't have to do it.
Yeah.
And to those who, watch this, we got to support the small businesses.
We got to support.
I don't care if you ever bought from them. Support them anyhow. there's you take the boutiques of the world. I ain't purchasing nothing,
Right.
but I'll share it if it's good content. What it don't even have to be good. If you're connected to me and you're willing to share hickeys, oh, you're getting a share. I'm telling people, go buy it. They got 3 in stock. Go get it all.
Where can we find hickeys at?
Oh, the website?
Yeah, the website. Tell us again.
www.ilovehickeys.com.
Okay.
And then on social media, it's going to be at @ilovehickeys.
And what can we expect when we go to the site?
Oh.
Is it we have, because we don't have men cologne yet.
No, not yet, but that's coming.
All right.
So
We're supposed to be getting together on that now.
and we're gonna do it.
Okay.
That's gonna be major. And this is what I'm doing. I'm letting hickeys kind of like make all the mistakes.
Gotcha.
So when we're ready to go, we can just soar. So once I build those relationships, get those
So
connects.
you're okay with making mistakes?
Oh, it's a part of the process. As a pastor,
What?
it's a part of the process, and people don't realize that pastoring is entrepreneurial. It's entrepreneurial. So it's just like a lot of times, and let me plug you in. I'll sit back and I watch the moves you make and say, oh, okay. I watch how you deal with people. I was just telling somebody that you're an expert at relationships. And I don't care what the status of your relationship is. You're a relationship expert. That's what they should glean from. It doesn't matter. Because all day he deals with relationships. Men, women, boys, girls, children, families. He has to be responsible for people. So why wouldn't I listen to somebody who has to be responsible for people? That's their 40, 80, 120 hour job. So I was just telling somebody that. So hats off to you. Relationship expert. Pastors, shepherds are relationship experts.
Man, that's crazy. So, all right. Where can we follow you?
Mhm.
Where can we find you at?
All right. So Dakari Augustus on IG.
On IG?
Dakari Augustus on Facebook. And then, of course, I have my pages. My government contracting business is Majestic Business Development Group. And so in that, we do a couple different things, but I have a page for that, so you can follow that, share that. When it comes to government contracting, I'm going to have a lot of content at the start of the year. So I actually scaled back a little bit so I can do my content.
Gotcha.
And at the start of the year, we're taking off.
So do you do consulting as it relates? So people,
Absolutely.
So this session, people are like, this is a lot of information.
Absolutely.
Do you do consulting?
Absolutely. You can call, text, email, whatever, and we'll set up consultations. We can do weekly, we can do monthly, we can do bi-weekly, we can do certain days, whatever you like to do. We set that up.
Man, first of all, bro, hats off to you, man.
Trying.
You're the real deal.
Trying.
You're the
trying.
real deal.
I'm trying to take it all in and put the information out.
Man, appreciate you, bro.
Yes, sir. No, thank you for having me. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Bandwidth all day.
All day. Y'all, I love you, man. Listen, this is going to be downloaded in a few days. Go back and watch this. Go back and listen to it. Share this video with everybody. Tag people who are serious about entrepreneurship. I wish you the best. Could you tell everybody that's like discouraged about, what would you say to the person that's discouraged about business? Say something to them. That's going to be our last thing.
Yes, sir. I would say, man, you got to keep grinding it out. I would say scale back and see what, just look at your vision. What is your vision? If you want to make a vision board, sometimes you do need to see it. And from there, don't give up. You cannot give up. If anything you'll learn from your shepherd and from your leader is he doesn't give up. He's going to tirelessly go at it until something he can make it happen. Or watch this. The biggest word I can say that the pandemic should have taught everybody was pivot. Pivot. How can I pivot? If this isn't working, let me pivot. So sometimes when we get frustrated, it's we'll just kind of like scale back and don't want to do anything and just like, I can't do it. No. You got to be able to pivot. And that's what life is about. So if you can't do it in entrepreneurship, I have to look at your life and be like, well, do you pivot in life?
Wow.
Because it's the same thing. We got to pivot in life. We got to pivot in entrepreneurship. So,
y'all, there you have it. Here at Encounter Church,
yeah,
he's Minister Dakari Augustus.
That's
Out there, he's CEO Dakari Augustus. Y'all need to hit him up, look him up. He does consultation, and they're not free. You have to pay. We love y'all.
Mr. Bandwidth
all day. Remember, y'all, whatever you do, don't stop being a lion.